Hello, what's up gamers, and welcome back to Guide to Minecraft. And this is our second episode here, and well, today we are going to be building our starter house. Now this is a very important step here in your Minecraft career. This will be the house where you start all of your Minecraft adventures from for the foreseeable future until you are ready to move on. Ah, look, there's a bee. We might go and collect him in a little bit, but we're going to be doing that today, and I've got a couple of things to tell you from in between episodes. So let's get right into it. So, in between episodes, I spent about 20 minutes just gathering up some resources, and I dug back down, added some torches in, because I found some coal down there, and a couple of pieces of iron. Now, iron is an incredibly important resource. You need it to basically do everything. You want diamonds? You need iron. You want to build massive redstone contraptions? You need iron. You just want to get basic tools? You need iron. So, it's starting to become night here, so we are going to sleep once it allows me to, and then we're going to talk about how to build your first starter house. And so, first thing you need to know when making your starter house is the idea. And the idea is incredibly important. That is how your entire house is going to turn out, and what it's all going to look like, and just your basic overall plan for your build. And so if you need help getting an idea, what I would recommend is maybe going to Google to get some inspiration, or watching some of your favorite YouTubers who play Minecraft and see what they like to do, and it will just give you some good ideas on how you want to make your build. And I already have an idea for what I want to do for my build, so we're going to work on that today. But the next step is palette. You need to pick out your block palette, the colors and blocks you are going to use for your build. And that can be a common palette or a very obscure palette. But make sure your palette isn't too big, because if you have too big of a palette, your build will look kind of jumbled and sometimes even ugly when there's too many colors clashing with each other. So I've gone with a very basic palette today. It's just oak wood, birch wood, cobblestone, and logs. And this is a palette I actually love building with. I did it a lot in Darn It Craft Season 1 with my medieval village that I built. And it's a nice palette and I enjoy it. It's just very calming colors, very old, rustic, just strong, reassuring colors. So what I've done here is I'm just bringing back this little flat piece of land here, and that starter shack is going to come down a little later. But for now, at least, it is going to stay there. So what we're going to do here is I would like to stay near the water so that we're close to our crops, but I don't want to be straight on the edge. So there goes my second shovel. That's my second shovel since I started doing that earlier today. But we're just going to go make quickly another shovel, and we're going to come out and build just slightly off the coast of the water here. We're going to pull all this dirt back and get to building. So we'll cut to that, and I'll see you guys when I'm done. Okay, so we've pulled all the land back. We've got quite a considerable amount of dirt, so I'm going to put that away. But the next step to our build is our outline. So now that you have your idea and your block palette, what shape is your build going to be? What is it going to look like? Actually, I shouldn't put all that away. But grab something easy to access, like dirt, and just make a small outline of what you want your build to look like. So I don't want it to be too close to our last little structure here. I want it to be a little distance away, but we're just going to come back here, and I want to have just a very nice 2 floors, maybe like 1 floor and an attic, and like a little porch. So we're gonna go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blocks across, 5 blocks back, and this will be like our porch area. This will just be our porch area here, and then behind that we'll have the actual house. And it's not going to be that much bigger than the porch itself. We're just going to stand out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks on either side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, And I think we're actually going to go with a asymmetrical design here, where we've got the porch is slightly off center here, and we're going to pull this land back a little bit more because we need just slightly more space here for this. But once we've done that, we can kind of install the rest of our outline here. So we're going to have our porch on an asymmetrical design here, and we're just going to have a small area. So we're going to bring it back here, and that's then going to come in, and then we're going to have it come back out this way, and then it's going to come across the back edge and link back up with the other wall. So this is going to be our starter house. It's big enough for everything we could need in this area, and it's just a small outline. So what I like to do when I'm outlining is place a litter and then slowly replace each block with what I want to use there from my palette. So I'm going to use birch wood for our porch, and I'm just going to fill the whole porch in with birch. And we're going to have oak logs on each edge. And I think we've got 9 blocks, right? So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. See, so that's 1, 2, 1, 2. So that really kind of doesn't leave a lot of area. So we may want to do blocks like this, and then a block like this, some blocks like this, and that will give us a 3 wide area for our entryway. So we're going to put birch wood here as well, and all the way across here. Actually, let's remove the birch wood here. So there's one thing you should also bring with you when you're going to do a build, and that is a crafting table. And we already have one in here, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab it and bring it out to our little build site. Also, our crops have almost grown. So quickly, let's grab some mutton here. And we're going to craft up a couple of birch stairs. And we're going to put those in there like that. And that is a nice looking porch area. So we're going to do the same thing with the oak logs on the side. One gap in between with birch wood on the edge. And this will create a nice just homestead for us to work with. We're going to do the same thing here, but I'm going to leave these corner blocks blank for now because I don't quite know what I want to do with them. So we're then going to pull the last of the porch back. I'm just going to put in birch there because now we've got the big building. So we're going to go, so this is the ground, this is the floor, this level is the floor. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for now. And we are going to need more oak, but for now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should be considerably large enough for us to build out a framework. So we're going to do cobblestone as a rim to make it look like we've got a sturdy foundation here, and then a line of oak wood. Now the oak wood is going to give it a quite contrasting texture to our cobblestone here, and it's going to break up the build. And I have decided that I'm going to put logs here because I just feel like they're going to look nice. So we are going to need to go gather more oak logs for this build, but until then we're going to do this. So one thing that's important, our walls are going to be mostly oak, so we can't have the floor oak. If you have the same block here and here, it's going to look a little odd. So we're going to use cobblestone mostly, and maybe we'll mix in a little bit of stone in there as well if we smelt it down later. So we've got this built out, and we're going to build a couple blocks in, and we're going to do a 1 wide door here, but we're going to do a little bit of a special thing with it. We are going to need some more oak, so I am going to grab a little bit more of that, and I'm going to plant some trees here so that we have access to it a little easier. But we're just going to go and grab some more oak, and I'm going to kind of talk about our plan for the actual build itself. So we're going to have some oak along the entryway, and then we're going to have a window that's built out of eventually glass, but for now it's going to be made out of staircases, and we're going to have like this just interesting sized custom window that'll be on the front panel of our house here. And so I'm gonna, after I grab all this oak log, we're gonna head back over to the little starter shack, and I got some sand in between episodes, and I'm gonna put that in there so that we can have access to some glass panes for the rest of the building, because not all of it is just gonna be staircase windows, just the one above the door. So I think 32-ish logs should be fine. We're gonna get 34 because that's just how much was in that tree. So we're gonna come back over here. Look at that, our wheat has pretty much grown all the way up. It's become a big boy, and it has grown into an adult. So it's grown actually quite quickly. It's only been a couple of Minecraft days. And that's because we planted it in those rows like that. And as you remember, we planted the potatoes at the end of the first episode there, and quite a few of them have already grown all the way up. So we're just going to harvest those, and we're going to put the potatoes on the campfire, and then we are going to go to bed. Okay, so it's morning again, and we've got our iron here, and we're going to put that into the furnace so that we have that. So we've got the achievement acquire hardware, but we're not going to use any of the stuff right now, and we're going to replant these potatoes along the edge. We just needed some baked potatoes there to give us a little bit of extra food. So now we've got some extra logs, our potatoes are done, so we have some food to keep us going while we're working on the build here. And we're going to build up a couple blocks and then build across. But now that I think about it, I don't actually want to build across with the oak. I want the top of this to be those staircases that we were talking about. So let's make a couple of staircases, and we're going to need some slabs too. And so when you're making a build like this, you want to make sure you texture it to give it a little more depth, but don't over texture. If it looks too complicated, it's not going to be a very good looking build, because when you have too much texture, it draws the eye away from the basis of what you're trying to make. Now, what I will say is quite hard to place the staircase, so I'm going to do it this way and just place it on the upside of this block here. Then I'm going to build one across. We're going to put 2 blocks here, break the temporary block, that there, and a slab across. Now that looks quite wide, and I'm not really liking So we're gonna keep it like that, and that is of course my final decision here. I have decided, and that is what our build is going to look like. So let's go back and check in on our glass and see how that is done. So the glass is complete. It is ready, but we're not going to use the glass in its standard form. We're actually going to turn most of it into glass panes. That way we have more glass, as well as glass that's dropped back a little bit into the building, and that looks quite nice. So we've got this glass, and I would like to line this wall with a large window, a 3-wide window. Look at that. That's quite beautiful, isn't it? And then we're just going to come in and continue our cobblestone rim around here. And I'm going to add in some more wooden towers. I've decided that I think I want to do a cross beam with the oak logs here. I think it'll just make it look a bit more sturdy and less like it's being held up by just glass. we're going to go across the top here, and we're going to get rid of all the wood that's been put here, like this. And we're going to set it horizontally along the top. Now that lines the build and gives it a bit more structure. So I am liking the way that that looks, so I'm going to keep it that way. So we've got a little bit of wood around here, and we're just going to add more framing and more windows. We don't need too many windows, but I want to have enough so that the light gets properly let in and we don't have this dark and gloomy build. I want this to be a bright and fun build. So we're going to do that. So we've got this build that comes across. We're definitely going to need a lot more materials for this. But for now, we can add to the inside. So I'm thinking birch, and we can change up the color palette from room to room. But our front entryway here is going to be birch, because I really like the color that birch brings to a build, because it's just quite nice. It's a very large, bright white, and I feel like it brings a lot to our coloring here, so that we don't have just it doesn't look as medieval when you add in the birch, because the build colors we have right now are quite dark. So we're going to add these in. We are going to need more oak log, but I think we have quite a nice start here, and I'm enjoying how this build is starting to turn out. So I'm going to go collect more oak log, and I'll see you guys in a moment. Okay gamers, so I'm back with a lot more resources, and remember, it's sometimes hard to estimate how much you'll really need for build. I've been playing Minecraft for 8 or so years, and I still really haven't figured out a proper way to judge the amount of materials that I'm actually going to need. So I'm back with about a stack and a little bit of oak, and I'm going to turn all these birch into birch planks here so that we have plenty more to enter into our entryway flooring. I also made a couple of new tools because our last ones broke. So I'm going to put in our logs here. And a trick is that you can not use a log there. That will save you a little bit, because no one's actually going to see that, because it's in an inside corner and it's not going to be shown at all. So just a little tip there, so you can conserve some materials that may take longer to gather. So we're at a cobblestone at this point, but that is okay, because we've mostly laid out our build. I'm just going to finish up with a couple more of these, finish off that, and then we're going to we've got a 3 wide here. I would like we get a 3 wide on this side, which leaves a 2 wide in the middle. And that 2 wide is just going to be flat wall, where this 3 wide is going to be more window, because we do want a lot of light, as I already said in this build. And we're going to leave this whole wall flat open. We're going to bring in this on either side. We're going to bring our beam across here, and we're going to make sure this is going to stay upright. This is a corner pillar to the build. Same thing with this one. These corner pillars are going to stay up, so we have our beam that goes in. I may actually change these into these blocks, so you can actually put quite a few blocks together to make oak wood rather than oak log. And that will look as if you've got a piece of wood that goes all the way across, but its ends do not connect up like that. So you've got our log that goes all the way around, and it looks quite nice. I'm liking that. I'm really digging the feel that that brings. So we're going to do the same thing on this corner here. the logs. Look at that. Looks great. And I like how it changes texture on the other side of the build. So we're going to bring our log in there, into the side of the build here. And then we're going to install, oh, hello, spider. I'll have more string. That could come in handy a little bit later. So, we've got our build at kind of our first floor almost wrapped up. So, ooh, wait, gotta sneeze. Sorry about that. Just had a little bit of a sneeze there. Springtime. And we're gonna have our first 4-wide window in the build, and then our second 4-wide window, but that will require us to go and make a couple more glass panes. So I'm going to turn the last of our glass here into glass pane. Shut the door on myself. Good job. So there we go. We've got 2 4-wide windows in our corner here, and this will be like our little living area. This is going to be split up more, but this is just going to be straight window. So we will need more cobblestone if we're going to finish off the ledges here. There's a cool trick that I want to show that will allow us to separate our areas off. So we're going to use this as a sort of boundary block. And I'm going to use this trick with the stuff again to create a flat edge log. I also just realized don't need to do that, because it's only gonna be one edge of a texture. So we're gonna have this, which will corner off our ledge here, so we can then switch it into cobblestone around the back edge of this build here. So let's go and grab some cobblestone, and then we'll get back to building. Okay, so I just went back down into the cave, and we got about 1.25 stacks of cobblestone. So we're just gonna put this into the last edges of the build here, and just coat the floor with cobble. Cobblestone is a nice, ever since they did the update on its texture, it's got a much smoother texture. It's less grid-like, it's more connected. It doesn't have that just dead feeling to it like it did previously, where it was a lot darker as well. They've kind of smoothed it all out and they've made it look nice. So that's our cobble in there. We're now going to separate this out into different sectors via logs. So we've got a window, which we will need to finish with more glass, which I can grab in between episodes, and another area for a window. And I can actually use these last 2 pieces that I gathered as the support beam, and then a flat piece in the middle. So that's going to be the base level for our house here. And in the next episode, we will finish up the roofing area, just like that, and the attic space. But this episode's gone on for quite a while, so thank you all for watching Guide to Minecraft, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!